Okay, so we've got our drawing of our crystal clusters. I've outlined it with some ink just so that the shape will kind of still be there after we finish watercoloring. So we're going to do a technique called wet on wet, and so we're just going to wet an area and with water first. I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to paint with water just inside the space that I'm going to be painting. So I'm going to exercise control and not get any water outside of the space that I'm going to be painting. Okay, so that's wet. And now I'm going to add some color. And you have to decide where you want your darks and your lights are going to be, your pattern that you want to create. So I'm going to do dark to light here. So I'm going to, this paintbrush, or the palette already is wet. Just go ahead and drop some color. See how that just takes off? And it stays within the bounds of my water. Now you can see it's a little bit darker here, it gets lighter there. Now if I wanted to get that lighter, I could rinse my brush, get the paint that's out of there, out of the brush, and then just push it up a little ways there. See, it wouldn't have gotten lighter had I not rinsed my brush. Okay, now if I want this to be a little bit darker, add a little bit more paint to my brush, just to the tip. And I'm just kind of pushing that color upward. Get a little bit more if I want it darker. And now I have a dark to light. Now what I want to do next is not work next to this area, so I'm going to jump around over to here, I think, instead of going here, because if I go here, then the colors will run together. Now that's just using one color. If I wanted to use another color with this, I can do that also, but I'm going to go ahead and do one more, just like I just did. I'm going to move over here, painting with just water. Okay, and then add a little bit of paint just on the tip of my brush. We're working in a small area now. Isn't that cool, the way that works its way up? Now what I'm going to do next is rinse my brush, get some of that paint out of there, and then push the rest of the color upward. So that's going to keep it white. Okay, now if I have too much water, looks like I got a little bit of a puddle from right here, so I can let that soak into the paper, or I could get a paper towel and dry up my paintbrush and then soak some of that extra paint. Now that looks awesome right there. I'm going to go up here, paint with water. Drop a little bit of color. Now that's a small area. Now I'm going to rinse my brush, get rid of the paint, dry my brush, and then push that color, because I want some really light blue. Now I wouldn't get that light blue had I just kept painting upward. Now I'm going to pull some of that color up, which means I dried my brush and pick some of that up. So I'm going to leave it almost the white of the paper. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around doing this exact procedure, dark to light, and then just jump around, move around a bit.